Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, it says AI in 3D.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It's a little difficult for me to tell here. We're kind of on the edge of a hurricane, and already first thing that happened was my camera went out. I think it's back now. Okay, yeah, things are not working in the normal way. Okay, well, we'll just go with it anyway. Good morning, and thank you, and welcome. I'm just going to start very briefly with a very quick thing about my background because it relates to what we're going to be covering. Back in 1995, when the internet was mostly text and blue links, we created a thing called Cybertown, which was multi-user 3D VR, which, as you can imagine, was pretty hard on 14.4K modems, but we pulled it off. It became very popular, and it grew to about 1.5 million members, but that was actually a problem because we had 100 chat rooms, VR chat rooms, and 1,000 new people a day joining those chat rooms and asking numerous questions. And we couldn't keep up. We couldn't be in 100 chat rooms. I had heard about AI, and I wondered if it was possible to build a chatbot that could sit in the chat rooms and answer all the questions simultaneously. And it turned out we could. And we built Mina, and she became very popular. She kind of developed a personality and got a sense of humor. And she helped us immensely. And I became kind of enamored of AI. I was already enamored of 3D. And because what we were doing is very kind of revolutionary, we got a lot of international press. Anyway, enough about that. So first I'm going to go into how AI is being used to create 3D worlds, basically from text prompts. So there are many, many AI 3D world building systems now. Many are locked into their own environments, like Instaverse, Gmetrix X or Gmetrix R, Nyric, and one, Versi AI, that's been teasing us for about a year, which I'll cover in a moment. This is what Instaverse looks like, and this is basically, a 3D environment created in about 30 seconds with a text prompt. And I think here, yeah, the same here. These are some of the environments that Instaverse creates. And literally, you just type in text what you want, and it creates it. Since we're going across the internet in Zoom, it's probably pretty jerky in terms of what you're seeing, but it's kind of smoother in terms of what I'm sending.
There we go. Okay. So we can continue.
Okay, so let's move on. All right, this is geometry, and this is geometry where they've created a world and then they've created an object, and they're putting the object in the 3D. And Playbook is another one that creates 3D environments from straight text. Nyric, basically, while you're in the 3D world, you can write a text prompt and it will change the world, and it claims it to do it in 10 seconds. And we'll see a quick example of this here. So they're just typing in a little box on the left, and the environment is changing pretty much instantly, like that. So the AI is obviously trained on how to create worlds, and it just does it really fast. I'm going to move on to the next one. Now this is Versi. Now for a year now, Versi has been saying, coming soon. And I wish they would come soon, but they haven't yet. But what's interesting about Versi is this, which is that when you're actually in the space, you actually type what you want, and in real time, see at the bottom it's saying, create some office stuff, and in real time it starts creating the office stuff, creating the objects to make it into more of an office. And now it says, create another room behind this wall and put a glass door, make it big and full of light with big windows. So there's the new room it's just built. And then it's going to say an event room with multiple rows and columns of chairs, a stage, and a projector screen for video content. And it instantly starts creating the objects to make that happen. And as you can see, it's pretty quick. Skybox is one I've been using for quite a while. It's a very interesting one for a number of reasons. And I'll show you. These environments were all created by AI from text prompts in under 30 seconds each. And simple prompts. This was just like a modern office. And it created this. I think this was just some kind of classroom. So it creates the environment and creates the objects and places them. And this was some kind of outdoor plaza. In the next one, the last one here, no, the last one after this, it actually, I think, yeah, it creates some people and puts them in the environment. Yeah, right there. So it's an interesting tool, but there's a reason why it's even more interesting, and that is you can literally just draw random shapes like this and say, inside spaceship, and it creates this. And so you see that's the shapes that I drew, this, and this, and it created this, but it took it a lot further. And I'm going to attempt to go online and show you. Yeah, it not only created what I asked for there, but since I said inside a spaceship, it created the whole inside of the spaceship. And in under 30 seconds. And it's completely unlimited in terms of what you can say that you want. And it seems to be able to create anything. Anyway, it's fun to play with. You're probably familiar with Dash 3D. They provide pre-built 3D environments that are very, very detailed with multiple parts for very low prices. And of course, they do a lot in the area of 3D objects, as I'm sure you're familiar. But of course, they're using AI now to speed things up. So the next thing I want to take a look at is AI and going text to 3D objects and image to 3D objects. So here are 3 images, and the result is a 3D object. Just created from these 3D images. And there's another one. And they're keeping the textures pretty. This is Meta. They haven't quite launched this yet, but they've shown us what they're doing. But they're creating 3D objects with pretty nice textures. This is a company called Meshi. A similar thing. You just write in what you want in text and it creates the object for you. Actually, here's some examples. And this one is Rodin, and they also create pretty nice objects, again from text. Stability AI came up with something called Stable Fast 3D. And the reason they call it that is because you put in a 2D image, and literally half a second later, you get your 3D object. This is CG Dream, and they produce pretty nice objects as well, again from text prompts. And Tripo does everything. It does worlds, characters, scenarios, animation, objects, everything. By the way, at the end of there's going to be links to all of this stuff, and I think you guys have access to download to get those links. Last area I'm going to look at is avatars. Photor creates again avatars again from, you just says generate yours now. You put in either an image or some text, and you get your 3D avatar. Avaturn is another one, creates fairly realistic avatars. Chat avatar changes the expressions and does all sorts of different things, again from text prompts. DAZ 3D, which I mentioned before, also does a lot of stuff with 3D avatars. And this is a guy on YouTube who he demonstrates what he does. He basically goes first into an image generator called Leonardo, and he asks with text what he wants, in this case a robotic dog. Then he twiddles these settings here to change it into numerous different variations until he gets what he wants, which was this. Then he takes this and he puts it in Rodin. And Rodin, which is from Hyperhuman, converts that image into a 3D object. Then he takes that 3D object and puts it in Blender, where he animates it. So he can very quickly create exactly what he wants. Rapport is another one that specializes in really being able to modify expressions and changing expressions and emotions and accurate lip sync and that kind of stuff. Ready Player, like a lot of them, has a lot of different variations of clothing. Crikey is another one. It's more kind of cartoon based. In terms of formats, most all of these tools export into all the kind of formats that one would need to put it into Unreal Engine, Unity, Roblox, Fortnite, Blender, etc. And 3D meshes as well. And DAZ 3D does the same thing, but it uses specific plugins that they call bridges to export to most different formats. Like I say, I think you can download slides, you can get links to what we covered and a lot more. And that's basically it. This is AI Connection Club, where if you've got questions for me, you can always find me there. It's a free online community for helping people learn about AI and how to use it and stuff like that. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this was interesting.
Yeah, some questions? Anyone from the audience? Yeah. or online.
Do any of the people avatars make it so you can change them from being 50-something to 90-something and change their posture, or are they all very straight up and down, their posture?
Thanks. No, absolutely. There's AI tools where you can just drag your exact postures, and you can upload image postures and say match this. I mean, there's so much variation now. Yes, absolutely. You can change their posture and their age and stuff like that very easily. Usually just by telling it with text what you want it to change.
Yeah, Tony, thanks. It seems to get better and better. I saw you showed something a few years ago. Question for authors who either want their work to be pulled into these machine learning environments or perhaps restricted, you know, like the robot stop texting to prevent search engines. Do you happen to know, are there any conventions for that, for sharing of 3D models with this AI ML ecosystem?
I'm really sorry, but it's very hard to hear what the question was. It's very muffled, what I'm receiving over here. Something about authors and encryption. I didn't quite. Maybe is it possible to put the question in chat, because I couldn't really hear what you were asking.
I'll try to speak farther from the mic. Is this better, Tony?
Okay, I heard the last part. Yeah.
Okay, so for authors, when they do HTML, you can do things in metadata to encourage or discourage sharing. Are there any practices to encourage these AI tools from using models or discourage them? Oh, it's restricted use, that kind of thing?
Yes, it's kind of a moving target, the whole area of security and encryption and sharing or not sharing. But there's more and more work being done on that currently. There are tools coming out where they're talking about, okay, this is much more secure and much more encrypted. And there are companies kind of building in to the code ways to prevent sharing. But like I say, it's a moving target because it's changing all the time. This AI stuff, I spend an hour or two every day just keeping up with all the changes. And in between seminars, I give kind of about 10 seminars a month on AI. And from one seminar to the next, there's always new stuff that I have to add because it's changing so fast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, with this we finish our session and go for lunch. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.